Alrighty guys, welcome. New week, another big week on the charts. Looking forward to seeing what we can come up with into the new month, obviously today being the last day of the month. So we can have a little reflection of how the month went. We also look to see what we can come up with moving forward into the new month. So guys, without further ado, as always, good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening. No matter where we are around the world, hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome to another edition of the London session on this final day of the financial year here for us in Oz. So big day, June 30. Obviously, the end of the month. So been a pretty good month. The last week wasn't fantastic, but obviously it still ends up at a very successful month nonetheless. Last week was one of my few losing weeks for the year, but just a small one, only 0.5%, just a little more than 0.5% loss previous week. But anyway guys, we are back on the charts, start of the new month tomorrow. All in all, once again, it's been a pretty good month. Let me know how you've gone this month, guys. Also, you guys know the drill. Do hit that like button. I really need you guys to help me out here. YouTube is really lagging behind these days, so you guys hit the like button. TikTok, don't forget to smash that little screen for me. And if you guys have any questions or any charts, anything you'd like me to take a look at, feel free to pop those into the chat and I will get to you guys shortly. But without further ado guys, let's have a look at the news. Let's see what scheduled news we have here moving forward today. On our stream here today, we've got prelim German CPI, so that will have an impact. So this all day in May on financial juice give us an actual time. So that's something to be a little bit wary of. Let's just refresh this feed and see if it does pop up. UK GDP, is that today? Interesting. That's today, unless I'm seeing things. It's not showing it here. Oh, it is. All right. So we do have some news. GDP to come for the UK. It's obviously red folder here for whatever reason. That's why I didn't really notice it on Forex Factory. It's not. But anyway, something to be a little bit wary of. Moving forward into the rest of proceedings though, nothing for our scheduled stream here today. You do have FOMC board members speaking later on, but nothing of high impact to come today. So it should be pretty smooth sailing. Guys, let's get cracking and let's have a look at the gold. Starting as always with the gold and starting that weekly time frame. Let's have a good one, team. So looking at the gold, looking at that previous weekly candle, closed back a very strong bearish candle. That to me is a strong catalyst to suggest that price could continue to the downside. Closed below the support here to the left. You guys remember early into new week, last week, I suggested that the possible destination could be 32.90 off the back of the previous weekly close if we happen to break the low of that candle. Now, off the back of the current candle, against the previous, so we've got a lower high, lower low. We are currently pulling back at the open of the new weekly, price gap to the downside. So let's just mark in the current weekly and slash daily low. If we begin to pop below that level there, I do see a potential for moving forward into the rest of the week, even today potentially, for price to tap back into that 3200 sort of region here, support to the left hand side on the higher time frame picture. So let's make our way to the daily time frame, where we can obviously see the structure in itself is still bullish, but what we can see is we do have counter probabilities being to the downside. Big long rejection wick here, which we are so far respecting. Mentioned it to a call with my guys yesterday, in the recorded call prior to the sim session, that this wick I'd want to be below it because price could potentially tap into it and bounce off it. So far that's exactly what we are doing. So respecting the lowest point of this support on the daily time frame, but we are technically bullish, but with the counter probabilities once again being to the downside. So if we begin to break current daily low, pretty much going to be breaking the support here to the left hand side, the lowest point as well. So again, off the back of that, I see potential for price to pull back to 3200 flat roughly. Onto the 4 hour, we are definitely bearish in structure. I have formed a bit of consolidation at support or above a support here to the left. We are now breaking away from that consolidation. Once again though, the structure being bearish, and off the back of the previous weekly candle, which was strong bearish, be more inclined at this rate to look for sell options, guys. I'm going to mark in previous some levels of support here to the left that we are fast approaching. I want to see how price reacts to it. We are currently at a level if we were to drag that down, but seeing we are pushing through that level, we'll focus on the next potential level of support that price could potentially react to and form resistance at to head back down. As far as further levels, we're going to mark in a few here. I'm going to mark in a daily low, and we've got some levels in between. So below the daily low, so first of all, off the bat, below daily low does look pretty good. We'll be back below that wick to the left. So off that, the back of that, we begin to break below the daily low. The support formed at that level, the market opened up to the downside, and I'd be looking for my options to take a sell. We are far off it though for the time being, but moving forward, something I definitely would consider. And aside from that, what I'm now going to do is just adjust this zone as well to the upside. I'm going to incorporate the most recent swing above the current level. We're going to focus primarily on that. Reason being is because above that point, I would consider the 30-minute to flip structure back bullish. So therefore, off the back of that, guys, very simple for me today. My plan on gold, preferring to sell it, because at this rate we're still, in my opinion, potentially grabbing liquidity from the upside, in line with the previous weekly candle before we reject to potentially head back down. Now, when I would look for otherwise, for instance, such as a buy, is if we have, first of all, a structure flip bullish on the 30-minute time frame, which will be confirmed above this 3300 flat region. We close above that point there. So long as we've had a bit of a pullback prior to it, then I would look for my buys above that point there. I would trust the buys. So that would be the option to the upside. Now, however, we're approaching an all-important level. So once again, if we did pop into what was previous support, respect 30-minute structure, reject, what we are doing just now is forming some minor support just below that level. So if we were to begin to pop below the most recent support we are about to create, then we could have some potential options to take a sell below. At this rate, let me just mark it in, let me change it to blue so we can distinguish between the minor and major level. So potential for sells below 32.8630 roughly. Now, prior to that, I would really love for it to pull up to this 4-hour zone and tap into 32.94 roughly, prior to rejecting and popping below this point here. Further sell options are going to be below 32.78 flat, 32.77 flat, sorry. That is another level of support formed on the pullback within the current daily / weekly, create the upper wick. So if we did reject and begin to pop below that level of support formed as well, to me, that would also be a good option to take a sell. So pretty much I'm looking for sells off the back of the weekly, off the back of the 30-minute structure and the 4-hour structure at this rate. And seeing we have made quite a significant push towards the resistance, it's a little bit too late to buy it if you're not already in buys. So I would be preferencing the sells moving forward, guys. And we will consider what buy options we may have if anything presents, if we have a really strong catalyst room price action prior to it actually flipping a 30-minute structure, using the actual structure within the daily candle itself, which is creating, obviously it's created a low, a high, high, low, high, 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 low, high, high. Maybe off the back of that, we could look for some counter trend, minor trend time frame buys. That's it, guys. Hopefully that made sense on gold. Just get rid of that for the time being. And let's have a look at Great British Pound and Japanese Yen. My secondary pair, which, to be honest, I've not really traded much at all off late and this year. Not really too focused on it, but we will do the analysis on it nonetheless. So looking at the weekly time frame, and very strong bullish candle, but look at the level, very strong level of resistance that it did close at. So off the back of that, we are so far rejecting, don't have an upper wick on the current daily / weekly. Don't necessarily need one. You guys know how I feel about that, especially seeing we are at a higher time frame resistance. What I'd be looking for within this current daily candle is previous levels that we have formed on the way down, so swing points. Those levels of resistance, if we were to hold, pull back to those levels, we could look for sells, and therefore as long as that continues to happen, not much need to pull back up and create the upper wick on the daily / weekly. Still high probability it will, but we don't necessarily need to. Let's also mark in a 50%, and look at that. So reason being, what I want to know where we're at against that previous weekly candle is, if we start to pop below the 50% level and on the minor time frames we form resistance below it, then I believe the back of that, there is a high probability that price will continue bearish moving forward into the rest of the day, potentially the rest of the week, and we could in fact come down to engulf the previous weekly candle. If we however begin to form support now at the current level on the minor time frames, what that's saying to me is potentially this could be the lowest point of the new weekly. Off the back of the strength of the previous weekly, we could begin to form support, head back up, flip the current weekly, create the upper wick, break the high of the previous weekly, push further to the upside. So we are at a very, very strong level, or a very significant level in my opinion, strong level of resistance as well. Daily counter probabilities now to the downside. Let's just keep the 50% in for the time being, see what in fact if it does line up with anything whatsoever on the 4-hour or M30. And so it's right at the daily low. Bullish in structure, bearish in counter probabilities. 4-hour, let's, I'd call that bearish. That did confirm a high, did close above this swing, so therefore I would consider it a swing low. I know it's not 2 consecutive candles pulling up back in the opposite direction to the trend, but it does resemble a swing. I would pretty much consider 4-hour bearish at this point at resistance as well. So let's just mark in support to the left hand side, resistance back at these highs. We make our way down to the 30 here now, and that is also bearish. So off the back of that, what a difference one whole session can make, because when I did the update yesterday for my team, I was only really focused on buys, to be honest, because it was very bullish. But seeing we have flipped some structure here, now I can see opportunities to the downside on GJ as well. So I've just marked in the most recent level of resistance, guys. Reason being, if we were to continue bearish, we have not much need to pop back above that point. If we do, now I feel off the back of that previous weekly, once again we may be forming support on the minor time frame around 50% of that previous weekly candle. That could be a possible low for the week. We break this resistance, liking up to that 198.50 sort of region again. So buys above, buys above, that's it. Now let's quickly look at it to the downside. So it's a bit of a slow trickle at the minute. Got this support which we are breaking. We did break. Don't quite have the momentum at the moment, to be honest. It does look okay below the current level. Let's look at the 15. That is very ordinary. So we've got candles which are trickling to the downside. Very hard to trust that sort of move. Closure below, you need a little bit more. So what I really would prefer to see is a little bit of a pullback here, then a strong approach, strong closure below, and then I would trust the sells. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to avoid the sells, guys, and wait to see if we do form some support to head back up. So at this rate, best probable buys, in my opinion, above 187.930. However, we may have an option here. Don't really have any zones, and that's because there is absolutely no volume, guys. These candles are dead. So we likely won't even be worrying too much about GJ, but we may look for potential buys above 197.70. And that's pretty much it, to be honest. The focus will be on gold though. Well, let's have a good one, team. Hopefully, once again, that made sense. And let's see what happens with gold. In the meantime, members, apologies. let me set up the Zoom call. I'll share a link with you guys in a moment. Thank you to those who made the effort to join yesterday's sim session with the members. It was a good session. Covered more the 5 and M15 on gold. And some interesting findings off the back of that. All right, Sam, just about to share a link. There you go, for those who are wanting to join the call. Alrighty, YouTube. To the few of you on stream, appreciate you guys. You guys rock. Who we got here today? Alright. Franco, as always. Barman, Tony Gold. Grand Rise, it's you. Jack, good morning to you, mate. And Carl, now it's TikTok. Let me sift through the chat. Welcome to the 50 odd of you on stream at the minute. Thank you to the 7 new followers. Hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you all had a good weekend. And let me see if I've missed anything from the TikTok chat. Don't be shy, guys. Feel free to say g'day. Feel free to ask questions. Here to help you out to the best of my knowledge, best way I can. And what you make of that is up to you. Jai, g'day to you. What's the sell or take profit for gold? Well, there is no take profit because there is no entry. But if I was to look for a sell, for instance, below potentially this point here, below 32.86, 86.50, then the target for me would be 32.78 roughly as support. But I would secure in between. All right, what else? Thank you to the new followers. Feel free to share the stream. Crystal, go to you. Shahid, GU. Okay, GU. Yeah, I'll look at that shortly. Let me just get through the rest of the chat. DS Nivek, g'day to you. Hope you're well. Yeah, weekend was good. Hope yours is good as well. Keezy. Is this gold? At the moment, yes. Geo, gold dropping. Yeah, a bit of a pullback today to the upside, but could be just craning up a week for the new weekly. It's a strong key level. I think it wants to take all liquidity to go back up. Maybe. We have obviously left to wait and see. Louis Vuitton, 24. Ebro, my prediction is entry at 32.96. Stop loss 33.06. 32.9. Okay, yep. So similar level. I'm looking for price to potentially reject. CP 32.76. Yep. Good levels. I like those levels. Mayback Trading Group. Good morning to you. So GU, let me look at GU as per the request from the chat. And let's see how GU is looking. So pretty sure closed strong weekly bullish candle. Did so. Closed at levels it's not been at for a few years now. Current weekly, not a great deal of volume. Let's just mark in the low of it, the current daily. Let's mark in the high of the current daily / weekly and see what we've got either side of it. Onto the daily time frame. Previous daily did close back almost a doji candle, long wick in either direction, closing weak bearish, not a great deal of momentum or volume at all at the minute. But we could potentially pull back once again for you to go back to the weekly, and even at 50%, you're probably a bit of a pullback here. I target maybe as a potential pullback zone if we did pull back to form to grab liquidity, head back up. This previous resistance 136.326. We'll see what we've got at that level. So daily resistance, so bullish on the daily as well. 4 hour Just see what we've got to the left above the highs here. All right, don't have the data. So it looks like it's pretty clean traffic. We are definitely bullish, but just now consolidating. So burning off a little bit of steam at the minute, just chilling. So looks like we could be looking for possible buys, but not the daily high, above the previous weekly high. Possible sells not below the daily low, below the support, just a little bit below it. Let's see what sort of catalyst we may have on a 30 though. So the 30-minute structure, bullish up here, confirmed the lower low, flipped it here, flipped it back bullish just recently. So bullish across the board, therefore I would prefer the buy. Options, I would just adjust that zone, and what I would be looking at is, I would call it bullish as long as we remain above this level here. So price was to pop back down to 137.05 roughly and form support yet again back above that point. I'd be looking for buys. I'd also be looking for buys above the previous weekly high. Now I wouldn't be looking for the buys into the resistance because it is a strong level, it could reject. So I would patiently wait for it to confirmation for it to pop above that weekly high for some further options to buy it. And your catalyst for sells would be structure flip again on the 30 below 137.05, and I'd be looking for a sell to take it back down, which could be a short-lived sell. You may just briefly flip the 30-minute structure, where I'd also once again look for buys from lower down off the back of the strength of that previous weekly candle. That's exactly what I would look at personally on GU. Franco might have a chart at some point if he joins, possibly. Yeah, so that's my opinion of it. Site chart collar gold. Yeah, so we're waiting for a potential rejection, not chasing the buys, to be honest, because you're buying it into resistance, into what was the previous support here to the left, which lines up with where I believe the 30-minute structure would flip back bullish. So I'm waiting for potential rejection for sells at this rate. Using, again, my normal rule on a Monday is to focus on the strength of the previous weekly candle and trade in line with that candle itself, whether it be upon, in this case it was a strong bearish candle, whether it be upon a pullback within a new weekly candle. And to me, we're tapped into a daily support, but the weekly does look like it could still continue down. So whether it be upon a pullback to create the upper wick and look for rejection, whether it be upon continuation below the low. So that's what I'm likely going to be looking for, or obviously levels formed within the move, the pullback to the upside. If price begins to pop below those levels, they also could provide some potential entry points. Just see you, BMW. Thank you for the sticker, my friend. How's it going, brother? All good here. How about yourself, mate? How's things?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad.
All good to hear. What are you looking at today? NQ or GC? Both, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we'll get back in a minute.
Yeah. Very. I mean, it's at all-time highs, so it doesn't mean it's difficult. You want momentum though. There is no momentum at the minute.
I was more waiting for a retracement on NQ.
Yeah, because at the minute it's just consolidating. So I mean, if it,
Like 28, or like 28.50.
28.50, yeah, that'd be a reasonable sort of level. You're talking about this sort of previous resistance here.
Yeah.
Really anywhere above any of the previous levels above this point, I'd be looking for buy. So really anywhere above 22.803 to be exact, I'll be looking for support to form. You're going to flip a 30-minute structure as well below that point, so that's, you know, another reason as to why I want to see it form support above that level. Also lines up some resistance there to the left. So if it does begin to flip the structure, then it could lead to a deeper pullback. So I'll just be looking for the buys above it. And because of the lack of momentum at the minute, I'd probably steer away unless you have a really strong candle. But even then, I'm not so convinced at the minute. Yeah, alright, let's... Yeah, this looks the same as spot gold at the minute.
Yeah, it's all, I've got a zone bar from 32.94 to like 33.03.
32.94.
Yeah.
So it's around here. 33. Roughly there somewhere. So using... Okay, yeah, so it's pretty much similar to mine, but you've marked in the current level, which I just avoided, but you could definitely mark it in. Yep, so what's your plan? You looking for rejection for possible sells, or?
Rejection, looking for rejection, buys above 33.13.
33.13? Yep. Yeah, it's the same level I've got for spot gold here. 33.01, but I mean the same area roughly.
Yeah.
Yep, nice one. Yep.
It's fizzling out a little bit.
Yeah, there's not much happening at the minute, so obviously very early days. But it looks pretty much the same as spot gold. Nice one. Wait and see how things go. Petrolina, Jay, should I buy? What, gold? I wouldn't be buying it just now. It's a trick question. Well, I mean, it's not a trick question, but it's a question that could be answered many different ways, because if you ask me if buy gold in regards to a longer term thing, I would say it's always a good time to buy gold. Personally. I should do the occasional live stream just talking about things like that away from the actual chart. I believe it's always a good time to buy gold. Trading wise, not always though. When I'm talking about trading with leverage. So in that regard, no, I don't believe it's a good time to buy it. I believe I'd rather wait for opportunities to sell it at the minute.
What about buying stuff for like palladium outside of trading?
Say again, what?
Just like buying palladium.
Palladium?
Outside of trading.
Palladium's it's an interesting one. That's another one I was knocked about a lot. Platinum, palladium. I'm not sure what palladium's. I don't even know what the ticker is for palladium. I know platinum is flying, absolutely flying at the minute. It's actually, platinum is a fantastic buy as well. That's been on an absolute tear. It's leading the metal run at the minute.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Yeah, and that, if you guys remember, platinum used to be more expensive than gold. You know, we're talking all-time highs at 2,300. It's only 1,300 at the minute, 1,360. So, still great value. But it is a little bit overextended. Doesn't mean it's not a good time to maybe buy. I just looked at it thinking, I was looking at it down here, I hesitated, focused more on silver. I'm still happy with my silver holdings. And look at it. So I'm kind of waiting for a bit of a pullback. And we'll see, it might not pull back and I'm just not in it. Palladium, I don't really know a great deal about. I know platinum and palladium are difficult to mine. There is not a great deal of it. Platinum's an industrial metal. Palladium, I'm assuming, would be the same. Not sure what it's used for though. Silver is both industrial and monetary. So I personally focus more on that. Yeah, palladium, I'm not too sure, to be honest, mate. Not heard a great deal about it. Gold is looking not too bad, guys. We could potentially have some options soon. What's your win rate overall as a trader? Like, I'd say it's probably about 75, 76% roughly. On stream, it's 80, 81, something like that. This year, overall, since I started the streams, 80.4 something, and that was over a year. To be honest, I think it'd be over 80 had I added in the old stream. I used to stream under another group. But yeah, it's definitely around that 80%. I know on stream it is anyway. I've got the stats. All the trades are documented, every single trade, but I'm not buying the whole lot to know exactly what it would be. Every trade is documented in my journal. The other trades, the reason why I don't document them in the journal is because they're called out in a section I called the trade ideas section of my members group. And a trade ideas section has the chart, has the everything. Like if I take the trade, what happens, the result, like just there. So that's all there anyway. So it's still journaled, but it's not journaled in my trade journal, if that makes sense. That's where I go into full detail. So the month of June, I think from memory was like 12 or something, 12, 13 wins, 4 losses, I think it was, and 1 break even. Wasn't a big month, pretty quiet month. But it still ends up being in a profit, so. I have months, my guys know, or I've said to my guys, the guys have been with me for a long time. I have months where I'll get many more options. I'll take a lot of trades. And I'll have months where I'll take like 15 trades. It's because as well, I'm not going to sit in the charts all day and night hunting trades. That happens while I'm on the chart, which is either on stream with you guys or on a private call with my members team, or maybe half an hour before a call or something where I'm seeing something happen, and that's where I call it in the trade ideas section. Yeah, that's the only time I'm looking on the charts actively waiting for a potential entry. Everything, g'day to you. Loco, think I'm going to reach all-time high. I believe so. When? I'm not too sure. But I do believe gold will eventually reach a new all-time high. And beyond. Well beyond, to be honest. Again, I'm on the belief that gold will end up being more than 10k at some point. Not going to call when, I have no idea. Maybe by the end of this decade, potentially, I don't know. And beyond that. Loco, iceberg. Yeah, look, it takes a lot of discipline and patience. I've thought about a few things, have thought about ways to get involved more often. But again, need to be sure of that particular entry. So I'm talking about using that like 5-minute more often and things like that. Loco just started Forex 6 months ago. I just recently quit my job as a salesman. Yeah, mate. About sales, can't stand it, to be honest, mate. It's, yeah, tough gig, isn't it? Do you think I made a bad choice? It's not whether or not you made a bad choice. It's just, to be honest, mate, it's whether you have the discipline and patience enough to give it a chance to work, because it would be great if you had some sort of source of income coming through on the side. So that will take the pressure off having to try to find trades and things like that, and trade for the sake of it to make a quid or whatever, make a few dollars. But you need to learn to master the art of discipline and patience. It is by far and away the most difficult part of trading. Once you've done that, and if you found that you have a edge on the market that works for you, so whatever you decide works for you, it could be scalping, could be intraday trading, could be swing trading, could be micro scalping, could be using fair value gaps, could be using imbalances, or whatever. There are so many different ways. It could be what I do, which is price action. Then you just got to really knuckle down, commit to it, be patient, let it do its thing. Don't flick it off after like a month or two if you're not profitable, because it's going to take time. That's the reality. So what I would suggest is it'd be great if you had some other source of income coming in on the sidelines to take the pressure off a little bit, and learn the craft. Learn it properly though. Don't treat it as a quick get rich quick scheme. Don't treat it as like going to a casino, because that's when you're going to get wrecked. But if not a bad choice if you're following what you want to do. I've been knocked pillar to post. I've had people tell me you're never ever it's not going to work. Still have people down me. You just got to have the knack to continue, keep getting back up, keep committing to it, keep getting better, and you'll be right. You'll get there. Just give it time. Flex Trading and Q had a massive jump at open today. Yeah, again off the back of apparently I think July 9th is a big day. Don't quote me. I think it's when the US and China meet again about trade talks, and apparently what is being said so far is that they do believe they will continue on some sort of agreement which will be mutually beneficial. So it's not going to obviously slap on massive tariffs on China and so on and so forth. So maybe at the back of that, NQ continuing to the upside, obviously NAS. Who knows though, it's just a strange one. Gold dropped at the open and it's since bounced. I know futures contracts also are being closed out, so options contracts, I think it is. I know silver, I think they tried to smash it down to below 35 US dollars and they almost succeeded. But with the new contracts opening up tomorrow, I would not be surprised if silver absolutely starts to pump very shortly, very soon. Because they cannot continue to suppress the price of it. It's just, there's no way of them continuing to do it. The banks, the big banks that are heavily short silver, and it gets to the point where even they'll start longing it. They'll realize it's drawing the masses. They'll actually lead the charge, and that's when people are going to get stuck. That's when they're going to eventually dump again. People are going to get caught out because they're going to FOMO in. Banks are going to secure profits. I'm not going to worry at all about it because I've got it for a long term hold. I'm not planning on selling any of it anytime soon. The only time I would consider, and it's not selling, it'd be trading in for gold. Once the ratio drops to about 60 to 1, I'm going to start to maybe about a quarter of my silver holdings into gold. If it drops to below 50, I will probably another quarter, and if it drops to 20 or 30, it should be 7 to 1. That's what it comes out of the ground on at. Drop to about 20, then it's all in on gold basically. Thank you for the stickers, guys. Bread Hunter, X Joker, appreciate it. Sorry, mate.
Why would you trade at that level specifically?
Why? Because the value at that point, the ratio will be 1 ounce of silver. Sorry, 20 ounces of silver would be the equivalent of 1 ounce of gold. At the minute, it's about 90 what is it, 92 or something, 93 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. So gold is the safe haven. Gold is the like the Bitcoin, if you know, for lack of a better word, I suppose. Silver's like maybe the altcoin. Silver's the temperamental puppy or whatever, trying to garner attention at the minute. So once the ratio drops, obviously silver's going up against gold, and it'd be a good time to swap into gold. Take some profit from your silver holdings and move it into gold. That's what I'll be doing. Maybe even platinum a little bit of it. Chris, more into you, brother. Emil, so you trade here in live stream if it presents. So I'm just talking at the minute because there's nothing. I'm waiting for gold to potentially close below 32.86.30. That's what I want to see at the minute. Look what I mean about GJ, guys. Got the closure below. It's just a slow trickle. There is no momentum, so I really can't trust the sells below. I'd much rather a clean pullback and then look for rejection at the minute. Yeah, it's experience, time on the charts.
Hey, good morning, Joseph.
Hey mate, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine, thank you.
That's good, all better?
Yeah. We are suffering like right now a little bit of the heat here.
Lucky you.
We have 35 degrees and in the middle of the week,
Wow.
37. So
Yeah, that is warm.
How about you?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Nice, really nice day. Actually, Winter's Day here.
Yeah.
It's been out.
Good to hear. So you are not suffering the cold.
No, not too bad. Melbourne's Melbourne though. It's not. A lot of people think Australia's always hot. Don't come to Melbourne and Hobart, Tasmania then. If you believe that, you believe otherwise. It's freaking freezing here in winter.
Yeah, I know that a lot of German persons are coming to Australia in the December time. So because there's hot
summer.
time there. Yeah. So I sent a chart to the group.
Okay. Yep.
It's a little bit different to your analysis. I see it a bit more indecisive. So because I have H4
H4 level
there, and yeah, it can go the other way or the other way up or down. So I think we are at a strong H4 resistance level right now, which you have seen because of the 3 years
it's
ago.
very choppy.
And I'm speculating that we are bouncing back from this strong H4 resistance.
Okay. So you're preferring the sells maybe, or?
Yeah.
Yep, fair enough. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing. Gold would just need to see if it rejects or sells. Not chasing the buys at the moment. MT, you think bullish and it will hit 3,300. I think it's a good chance. It could hit 3,300, but I'm not going to buy it into it because you're buying it at 4-hour resistance here. Previous support. No, silver. Yep. So, given my personal opinion of it, what I believe in, fundamentals and all that, and why I believe it's a really good hold. Gold pull back to 23.11 KJB. I think you mean 33.11. Well, if it pops above 33.01, there could be a chance for that to happen. What sort of margin do we have here? All right, so we're about to tap in. I want to see now if we do reject. Chris, we're back. Join the call of London. Oh, all good, not a problem. No way can you chart silver gold ratio. I'm not sure even how to do it. I know you can chuck silver on here, but I don't think it's going to give you the ratio. So obviously it looks the same. You can even see it here. Actual candlesticks. It's obviously just do 3,393.79 divided by 36.1785. That's the ratio, whatever that is. Someone can maybe do it in the chat or something. You just do price of gold divided by silver. That's the ratio. Very simple one.
I think it's like 90 to 1 at the moment. I didn't work out or anything, but I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Maybe 6. I think it's about, yeah. It's roughly 90, 91, 92, something like that. I'll have a look at another screen. $90.95 is the current. So 90.95 ounces of silver will buy 1 ounce of gold. Thank you to all new followers. Angel Hermanus. Thank you, broke all-time highs. Yep, Naz of all the equities are flying. Quack's trading. I'm waiting for NQ to retrace. Yep, so same as Jack was saying. Sin Nate. Sell. Red Man, thoughts on gold? Looking for rejection at the current level. We're going to see if we do reject. I like the fact we've tapped into it, so it was some support here to the left. I want to see if we now trigger in some sellers. Fair pullback now within the previous weekly counter as well. Not quite to the 50. But it's definitely a level of interest where if we close above, I'm going to start contemplating buy options. Would love for a bit of exhaustion prior to closing above though. A little bit of a swing. And if we reject, most recent support form is really around that 32.86 sort of level. That's where we could look for sells, not from a little bit higher up. Marco, good day to you. Hope you're well. Welcome again. Yeah, no, I'm not sure how to actually what the ticker is for that. Wiz, what website? This is TradingView. Original vids. Thoughts on Heikinashi for newbies for smoothing the charts? I've never used them, so I don't really know, you know, what to. Well, I have no comment. That's the honest truth. I've never used them to know if they are benefit or not. Phantom, yes, NQ did break all-time highs. Do you think it will come down again? What, gold or NQ? What goes up will come down eventually. Doesn't mean it's going to be a substantial pullback, but it will eventually create a pullback. You can type both tickers. Or XAU, XAG, maybe. I don't know. No, it's not coming up. Do a charting ratio, put it between them. I'm not sure. I just did it. Nothing came up. So you can add the silver chart to the gold chart, but there's no point. I mean, they look identical pretty much at the minute. That's just, this is the silver chart, so it's not pushing as hard as gold in the minute. Gold looks like it could potentially make a deeper pullback into the previous weekly candle. Silver is lagging a tiny bit at the minute, but silver's previous weekly it didn't close as bad as gold's. Silver for the most part has been a pretty strong uptrend as well throughout this year, last few years. So on Judge, are you ready? 3,300. Looks like it could, yeah, get there very shortly. Very good to you. I'm looking to get in by 32.82. So yeah, pull back. That's fair enough. I'll try it again, but I don't think it's gonna work, man. No, I need to upgrade. Well, actually, no, it does. Sorry. Well, there it is. So it's 91. Almost that. What is that support? Yeah, see, I can't go down time frames. Can. No, I can't. Stuck on a daily for whatever reason. Yeah, so it's that strong support nonetheless. Anyway, let's get back to gold and GJ, and I'll worry about silver to gold ratio. So GJ looking a bit better. Like I mentioned, I'd rather it actually pull back and then approach with volume, approach the lows yet again. Let's just remove that. Market open buy was really nice for it. Well done. Aimer, gold, have you taken trades? Nicholas, no, it's very early. I'm looking for rejection sells, otherwise closures above 33.01. So Judge, let's go Goldie. Oh yeah, they require subscription for the time frames. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I see. I don't use TradingView for back testing, and I don't use indicators. So for me, there's no point paying for a subscription. I don't need the replay feature. I don't need the indicators. So a lot of volume at the minute, a lot of momentum to the upside. This candle is some 60 pips strong at the minute, so does suggest that we are picking up some steam at the minute. And so I'm just following my rules, which I, off the back of the weekly, I would prefer, especially at the level we're at, I would prefer to look for sells. Sabir, is this live? It definitely is live. No, I like using it for decade-long trend lines on the ratio. Okay, fair enough. Suppose it's probably good to know when you're looking at longer term holds. Gotta be careful what word I use. You guys know what I'm talking about though. Yeah, nice strong closure in the 15. eFootball 817 solar buy. I'm looking for rejection on the current level to sell. Otherwise, I'd rather price be above 3301 for buys. Because I mean, for me, if I was going to buy it, had I trust buys, had I been on the charts, I would have tried to found an entry from lower down. So seeing we are at level where I believe the 30-minute structure will flip if we close above, then I'd rather just wait for potential rejection to sell it. Plus it lines up with previous 4-hour support here to the left, so it's not just any level. To me, it's pretty significant level that's currently at. But let's just wait and see. Let's wait and see. If we, in fact, reject here, close weak bearish, we are, especially if we remain above that level or around that level, above the body there, then I may consider a slightly earlier buy. If I like the fact that we're popping back into below the 4-hour level. If we now bounce back up to close back above the bodies that can see it to the left, there is some pretty clean price action up to where the structure will potentially flip bullish on the 30. Off the back of that, I have got a price action signal to potentially buy a little bit earlier. So that's something we'll consider. GBMF, goal start his reversal, just wake up. Break a lot of previous structure. Yeah, the micro trend is definitely bullish. The current within a daily, the structure is bullish. We'll show some look for a buy. Fair enough. Setja Kola. Sorry. Absolutely butchering your name, I know I am. Where can we expect sell zone on gold? Well, as long as we remain below the current level, I think there is a good chance we could still sell off. So this rate, most recent support is that 32.8630. That could be a potential entry point. Alright guys, don't go nowhere. I'll be back in just a minute or two. Be quick. Stay there. All right, ladies and gents, strong rejection here on gold. Once again, why I wasn't so keen on buying into that level. It is a strong level of previous support to the left, so level where price could potentially reject is also a level where I believe the 30-minute will confirm a structural flip above that point, 3301. So far we are rejecting. Let's quickly look at GJ again. This is better. This is much better. So now what we can do on GJ is just adjust this zone to the downside. Use the 15-minute level. Let's just use the M30. And sells below look better now. Because the volume's coming back in a bit, we can see his candles are all, this one in particular anyway, is looking better. So if we do just pull back, reject again, and begin to approach the low, still got clean traffic to the left. May now in fact have the volume and momentum at that point for the sells. All right, gold potentially just grabbing liquidity from this range below though. So let's see if we close above this point. Let's just mark in a 382 as well. That's above just above the lowest point of that resistance. So we really want it to be above the bodies here. That to me is much better confirmation. Bias, where's price looking for a sell at this rate? Still 22.8630 below that point, below this support. But it could come a little bit higher up if I get a catalyst or a reason to do so. But at this rate, that remains the level 22.8630. KJB, still no entry, no, not at the minute. The captain trader, I'm looking from 20, you're long from 21.78 NQ. 2 full lots. Well, you're looking very good, mate. Well done. Four minutes until session open here. Let's quickly look at a 5. Yeah, 5 looks a mess as well at the minute. So a little bit of a wait still on gold. Still very early. So no need to stress it. Excuse me. Let's have a look. Pound GDP. Came out as per the previous and forecast. Not much change, not much growth.
pushing. Maybe we were close above the H4 resistance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is the level I had marked in from last week. That's why it probably blew. Yeah, has to be above that point or very close to it. Maybe a 50% rule for the breakout.
Yeah, also here there's some area for me. Either looking for buys or sells.
Yeah. Just trade the 4-hour range.
Yeah.
Alright, at what price am I looking for a sell? At this rate, it's still below 32.86.30. At this rate, below this blue zone, basically. So we're about to close in 2 minutes. Doesn't look like we're going to close weak, bearish enough back above the buys that counts here to the left for me to get involved in the buys. So for the next opportunity for the buys, still likely above 33.01, but if we have, for instance, a bullish engulfing M15 and still have the margin up to that point, I may consider a buy off the back of that. So we'll see. We've still got time. Thank you to a new subscriber on YouTube. Few and far between these days. But we'll see. Just wait and see on gold for the minute. GJ, as I mentioned, pulling back, which is what I wanted to see prior to any sells below. Seeing it's a very slow trickle to the downside, no momentum behind it whatsoever. So what would really be nice now on GJ is if we do in fact have that engulfing bearish candle closure below retest, still into some pretty clean traffic to the left. The back of that, in line with the way the current daily candle is forming, which is to the downside, low high, low low to the previous. Off the back of that, it could be some opportunities to take a sell. As I mentioned, we're at 50% mark roughly of that previous weekly candle. If we start to pop below it, form resistance below it, I feel we're pulling back, going to pull back further into that previous weekly candle as well. So that's my quick update on GJ, but otherwise gold, we're about to close here. Once again, not much going on. The 5 minutes is consolidating. It's still even on the 5 minute, looks better below 32.86, that sort of region here. So the minute, it's a little bit of a wait still on gold. Just remove that horizontal. Qatar. I entered it on 45. Well, gold. Well, you're doing very well. So session open, guys. London open. Petrolina. Can you sell till 89? 32.89. 32.89. Well, if you are in a sell, that, yeah, well, I'm not sure what the sell is off the back of. 32.87, 32.88 is a decent target. But for me, there is no sell at the minute. Valentina, what are you trading? This is gold, so spot gold. XAU, USD. Humi gold, are we selling on hold, or is it selling on hold? There is no sell because there was no confirmation to sell. Again, sell is still for me at this rate, this level, below that level. I mean, it looks a mess even on the 5 minute at the moment. There's no clean area, no strong catalyst to sell it. Got one 15-minute bearish candle. That's about it. So to me, there's It's not definitely not a strong enough reason to sell it at the minute. It's reacting to the level of interest that I've marked in. But are we going to now reject it strongly? And are we going to have an option to take a sell? We'll have to wait and see. Or are we going to potentially just grab more liquidity and continue within the current daily candle, forming that bullish structure and end up engulfing that previous candle, where we could potentially be looking at some buys moving forward. So just have to wait a little bit.
Big moves on the matrix. So EU.
Wow, look at that. Wow. That 4-hour level. Spot on, 50%. It's just good to see it. I know it's tough to take, tough to trust. But that level, look at it, right on. You've had half a pip drawdown, maybe, max. GU. Yeah, a bit of volume to open, but otherwise it's not a great deal going on there. Usually at some support. It's a bit of a wait and see game at the moment. Just a couple minutes into session open, so there's still time. Sabir, stop loss TP, where can I put it? What's the entry? There's no entry for me just yet. Uncle Royce, how long do I have to trade each day? Usually on the charts for anywhere between usually a bit longer actually, about 2.5 to 4 hours. All right, let's adjust these zones a little bit. So the bullish engulfing, and we could be looking at buys in just over 10 minutes. We do have clean traffic within this zone. Once again, guys, thank you to the 35 new followers. If you've not yet done so, make sure to follow. I do this on a daily. Building a strong community here. I enjoy streaming. I enjoy chatting to you guys, even though I obviously cop it at times as well, but it's all part of the game. But it's just, I want it to be a cool place to chill, chat, talk about, you know, anything financial and that. But man, I think it's going to go through the resistance. Yeah, potentially. So that's why I'm starting to now contemplate the buys, because we have triggered in sellers, which is what I wanted to see. If we engulf those sellers, and I trust the fact that we're going to likely fill up to 3301 clean traffic here on the 15. So all remains to be seen. Breadman, I mean, that's where I would believe, and I've got a confirmation on the 30-minute that will flip structure, but what I am seeing now is obviously within the daily we're forming some bullish structure here. Okay, some high lows, high highs all throughout. We've just recently formed resistance at what I deem to be the low of the previous 4-hour zone that we've broken over here from last week. We triggered in sellers at that point, and if we wipe those sellers out, then I believe there's a high probability that we'll come up to that 3301 region. So I could look for a potential buy prior to it, to 3301, as long as I get the closure above 32.95.50. That's now what I'm waiting for. If we do, in fact, continue bullish in the current daily candle. So approaching volume, I need to wait 8 minutes. There's no impulse entry here. Not a chance. Patiently waiting just over 8 minutes. Just under 8 minutes, sorry. It was all still on a bit of a decline after a tentative ceasefire agreement. I wonder when all hell will break loose again. Hope not. I think everyone should hope not, to be honest. No one benefits from all. Only the big men. The banks, that type of thing, they benefit. Severe, 1 minute. What, 1 minute time frame? Yeah, I don't trade it. I think the 1 minute will lead to a lot of fake outs and things like that. And I'm not saying you can't be profitable trading it, but just like any other time frame, you need to actually test it out properly, gather enough data to suggest that you could make it work. It's not something, quite frankly, that I've done. Maybe it's something I will look into a little bit more moving forward. There's nothing wrong with adapting, learning, adding things to your trading. But look, I mean, look at that. Candle breaks lower wick, you don't even see it form basically. There's such a low time frame here. So to me, the 15, the 30, the 5 as well at times is more beneficial, less confusing. Behind GJ for buys, is it bouncing? Oh, wow. So look, there you go. Like I mentioned before, I would prefer it to pull back, and then if we have the volume breaking, and look at it now, it is absolutely dumping. Not saying I would have taken the trade, not saying that, but that's what I wanted to see, because I doubted this slow trickle, and the 15 looked even worse. Coming to the stream, had a level marked in below there for closures, but I did not trust it because of the slow trickle. So what I mentioned, if you guys remember, was let it pull back, have this steam again, grab some liquidity, and then break, and absolutely melting. Yes, I would prefer to look for buys now. seeing where we're at off the back of the weekly more so, but we are once again, guys, off the back of the weekly, we're back below the 50% of that candle now, the previous weekly, and we have just formed resistance. Well, potentially. Still got 18 minutes to confirm that on the 30, a few minutes on the M15. But the fact of the matter is, if you're not in a sell, you've missed the move, so you're probably best to wait and see how price reacts to the 4-hour support here at 197, 150 roughly. Alright, just over 2 minutes, guys. Just under 3 minutes. Could we get some buys here on the gold? Let's keep an eye on it. Trader Jamison, Brazil, welcome. Alright, we're starting to look pretty good here on gold. So stop loss would preferably be below the 15-minute candle. We need to wait this candle to close. We need the confirmation. It has to have a bit of an upper wick as well. Yeah, entry is likely going to be a couple pips above the high of the catalyst candle. Allow for the new candle to create a lower wick prior to it. So we want this one to close above this zone. We want the new candle to wick down. Creates lower wick. As it begins to break the catalyst candles higher, that could be your potential entry. Stop loss back below low. TP, well, I'd be looking to secure in between, but end target is around at 3,300, 3,301. So just over a minute, guys. Let's see. We are rejecting. Has to close very close to, if not engulfing. I want to reject just now, because remember, this is the start of a 4-hour zone. So we want to be above that resistance formed at the very beginning of the 4-hour zone. Alright, looking a bit more promising, just under a minute. High on my brokers, 32.95.64. So if that remains the high, 32.95.84 is a potential entry point. Stop loss about 46 pips off the back of that. So just over, right on 30 seconds, guys. We need this to close up. Let's see. Gold Sniper. G'day, it's you. So we want this thing to close very strong bullish just now. We don't want to pull back. 10 seconds, guys. Come on. Alright, it's not done it. Alright, so ideally, I want this. I'm not placing a trade just now. What I want to happen, if I am to consider it, is this candle pop up without the upper wick, then pull back to create a lower wick, then break its own high, break high of the previous candle, and then I will consider it. I'll let you know if I set the order. Not set it just yet. I would love for this candle to just break the high of that previous candle without it creating a low wick, then pull back down into what I believe is the previous 4-hour support. Back into range below, break its own high yet again, and that's where I would look to enter. Close, but not quite broken yet. Severe. If the entry is valid, back below to 15. It's not valid just yet. It's not broken a high. We want it to pop up, then back. Not back, then up again. Alright, it's popping back down. So I'm likely gonna have to wait. Yep, no entry. No entry for me just yet, guys. Tina Montero, I was contemplating the buys and wanting this to close closer up. Or this count rip straight up, break the high, pop back down, create a lower wick, and then break its own high again. It's not done either of that, so there is no entry just yet. Need to wait. 5-minute rejecting as well. Yep, so I'm waiting again. All good. Still early doors, guys. Just Monday. Just the dude following the trading plan. That's all we do. Oh, stuff when I sell those green cows. I'll be back trading tomorrow. Stuff it. Yeah, I'm still off the back of the weekly and that. Still very interested in looking for sells, to be honest. Waiting for rejection. Judy 01 and 27 going to buy. Not at the minute, no. Didn't quite do as I'd want it to do, so I'm patiently waiting. It's the end of the month as well, guys. It's something to be wary of. Let's quickly look at the monthly candle. Alright, so pretty much at its open. Look, past two candles, well, current one and the previous one, very similar candles here. Do have a high, low, high, high to the previous. So again, anything could happen here. Could flip back bearish, could end the month bearish. So you need to be a little bit cautious of the fact that it's last day of the month as well. Options contracts are expiring or have either just expired and the new contracts are about to be put on the table for the new month. So funny buggers can happen on these days. You need to be a little bit wary of it. Gold will prefer buys, but too high for me. Yeah, that's why I need strong confirmation, which just didn't quite tick the box. NFP, yep, first Friday of the month. Casino day on Friday. Not for me, I don't. No way. It's earlier this week. So it's Wednesday. Oh, okay, because it's a bank holiday on Friday for the US. Okay. That was a little bit strange. Entering third quarter year also. Yeah, well, financial year, I think you guys do it differently. I know here it's the end of financial year is today here in Oz. I'm not sure UK. I think the US it's just goes by the actual proper dates, so financial year starts at the start of the new year.
The tax year in the UK is April.
April. Oh, okay, so it's different again. Yeah, ours ends today, financial year. A lot of busy accountants about here in Oz. Sumo 1998, sales looking strong. Yeah, I don't see anything at the minute, to be honest. Louis Vuitton, take you still there, bro? Yeah, I don't have confirmation to do so. When are you gonna entry? I think if it bounces off the order block, it's a good confirmation. Again, I don't have the right confirmation for me, so I just need to wait. We have the 30 closing above, having the 15 closing above. That might be a strong enough confirmation. Oh, sniper. Yep. But in trading terms, you're out 4 quarterly in here. Yeah. I understand that. And choose US policy news, it will most certainly move the market. What gold did stuff last quarter. Yeah, I believe you. I'm not gonna go back that far. That can be bothered, to be honest. So is the 30 gonna reject, or is the 30 gonna close above here? Yeah, the 1 minute's the only thing that looks half decent at the minute. On the pun. We could soon have some buys. As long as it isn't pumped in the next 6.5 minutes. Close pretty much where we're at. And we could have some buys on the next M30. 30 will close above. Looks like we still may have the margin. Just can't continue to push. THB, potentially looking for a buy, potentially. Three months a bit, but yeah, sometimes you wish the market would just go a little bit faster. Yeah, I know. Especially if you're stuck in a trade. We need the all-important closure here above. CHB, I just mentioned it, man. I'm looking for a buy for a long. Potentially. At this rate, it sells for me still best below 32.86.30. Again, I'm also aware of the fact where we're at. Previous support here on the 4 hour. Strength of the previous weekly is very bearish, obviously. Are we just pulling back to grab liquidity before we head back down? That's why we need to have a solid confirmation, no impulse entries. We need to have margin. What we do have is the current daily trending to the upside, creating high lows, high highs. We need to wait just over 3.5 minutes and need to have the margin. If we don't have the margin, there is no entry. Not much I can do about it, because this is the zone of interest we need to be wary of. That's the 30 minute. The 30 minute overrides the 15. Would not surprise me if it still rejects and we close back below in the next 3 and a bit minutes. Would not surprise me at all. Shezzy, morning to you. It's Bias 32.97, 33.08, bearish for value. Yep. Okay, fair enough. I don't trade for value apps, and look at it now. Wow. Getting it. It's the reason why we need to be so strict with any buys at the minute, because the fact of the level we're at, and also the back of the previous weekly count. Often what we're going to see is that, I think it happened last week too. Actually, no, last week I don't think it did happen. When we have a candle closing such strong in, you know, in this case to the downside, a lot of people are going to get trapped into looking for the buys. I think for price to look like it's going to continue up, it's creating some nice structure to the upside to eventually sellers step in. This is a potential level I believe sellers can step in, and this thing just dumps. So we need to be extra cautious. We need to ensure we have the closure above. At this rate, we're not going to have it. Now for the sells, we need clean traffic. That's another issue. We don't have clean traffic till back below, in my opinion, this zone here, 32.86, 86.30 to the downside. But look, if you were more risk tolerant and willing to risk it for the biscuit, I'm not saying this is the best thing to do though. This is not any trade advice or anything. What you may consider is, could this be that final liquidity grab in order for a step back down? Off the back of that, you may take a small entry. You might start to layer into some sells. You may have a wider stop loss. It's not what I'm going to be doing, but it would make more sense to look for the sells off the back of that now. But I'm going to wait till 32.86. That was my plan to begin the stream. To me, it's still the exact same level where I believe it looks a lot cleaner below. Potentially closing above, potentially still. This is by far and away not convincing at all. By no means convincing. It's definitely no entry. Definitely no quality entry. There is no sell because the 30s closed quite strong. There is no buy because we rejected that resistance close below it.
Also for me some difficulties on GU to get in some cells. Wanted to take some cells a little bit above.
Yep.
But it's closing too strong for me right now. There's no margin for me at the end. And also a very strong candle. So a bearish candle right now.
Yeah, I'd probably, because it doesn't really have an upper wick. It's got a very small lower wick. I'd rather this thing flip, create more of an upper wick, and then maybe consider selling it to break the low. It's at a very strong level though. Wow, it's an ugly area. Yeah. Gold rejecting. F90, I think we'll keep going up a bit. Fair enough. I mean, for me, if it made a clean pullback now and respected 32.87, then it could just be that higher low being formed in order to head back up. Mikey Lavelle, good day to you. 3308 pullback retracement of 61.5. Give 3276 error. Fair enough. Wow, sucks. Gold sniper. Yeah, again, just looking at this chart, I'm not convinced really to the upside. It's one of those ones where I'm anticipating and waiting for sells to come in, but I don't have a confirmation to take a sell, and nor will I take a sell just because I'm anticipating sells will step in at some point very soon. It does look quite overextended though upon the pullback. No, what about Naslong? I would not trade it this time of day. No. I don't see anything there at all. I'd rather it pull back further. I mean, for me, the buy will be above the bullish candle that forms support. But you've got there's no margin at all. I would prefer to sell it if it broke 15-minute low. Bullish pause below previous support here to the left. The back of that, this was to reject, break low this candle, likely price will head back down to the level here, 22,651, but it's in a big strong uptrend, so it'd be based off pure price action. That's why I look at 30-minute. You've actually got a confirmation here. It's flip bearish, close below the swing point, the origin of the swing high. So at least there is a bit of a catalyst now to sell it. And I would say as long as it remains below that previous support, if it breaks low of that bullish candle, I'd rather look for sells and buys from lower down. I'd probably prefer it to pop down a little bit lower. And again, irrespective of the 30 structure flipping bearish, 30-minute structure, still got a really strong closure on the previous weekly. Still the high, low, high already on the current weekly. So any pullback, if we found support, so really above that 22, 630, 620 region, I'd be looking for buys off the back of that. Otherwise, buys above the high come NY time if it is picking up steam again. Andrew McGee, what are we looking at the moment? Well, waiting on gold. There's nothing really at the minute. I prefer to sells, but below 32.86, and we're miles off that level at the moment. So it's a bit of a tough one. The buys, I'm not liking it off the back of that rejection, to be honest, because we are at what I believe is a pretty strong level here. Previous 4-hour support, which at the moment is holding as resistance. It's also the level where if we close above 33.01, I would confirm it would confirm for me a structure flip on the 30-minute. G-line is back open just like last week. Gold does nothing again. It's been tough, hasn't it? Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it's not been easy to find solid entries. But it happens. It's the time of year too. Farah, which market? This is spot gold.
Question, Justin.
Yeah, mate.
To GK. It's coming a little bit back. Do you would consider a sell when we create another resistance and in the area which we have marked blue?
Yeah, really. Yeah, anywhere upon the pullback now, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Because we are trending very strong bearish within the current daily pullback, very far into the previous weekly already. And that would be in line with the 50% of that previous weekly. If we form resistance below it, for sure I'd be looking for a sell, 100%.
My question is because if you look on the left side of the M30 time frame, we already could tap into the support.
Yep.
On the left side.
Not concerned.
Okay.
That's more for interruption entries and that, not for this type of thing. Because we're still respecting structure here. If we flip the 30-minute structure bullish on a closure back above 197, 710, then the sells would be off the table for me. I'd be looking for buys instead.
Yeah.
But if we pull back and respect it, then we're likely going to actually tap into the 4-hour low, the support, and maybe continue to trend. While the trend's still bearish within the current daily, for sure I trust it.
Okay, thanks.
Not a problem. Wow, GU bouncing. Gold is very, very tricky at the minute. Andrew McGee, how do you see silver doing in the near future? It's quite bullish at the minute. Yeah, I've been over what I think about it long term. Yeah, it's an opportunity, almost an opportunity for a lifetime, to be honest. But let's do a proper top down here. Week bullish based on the previous. Obviously, it closed below, well, it closed around the open on the previous weekly candle. Hard to know what to make of that because it did gap to the downside. But we'll just play it on what we actually see, and it's a bullish candle. Daily, obviously, not pulled back to that 34.80 sort of region since breaking, or yeah, 34.80, 90, that sort of region. But we are consolidating, and this could just be to grab liquidity in order to make a deeper push to the upside. Counter probabilities to the downside, but a very strong level of support. Definitely bullish in structure. Yeah, I still believe that's bullish. 4-hour, in the way I see it, it's also technically bullish in structure. A strong closure, previous level, very strong support here. Extremely strong level of support above that 35.20 that we keep respecting. It's at some resistance just now. Fucking bullish candle high. $30 is also bullish. So at the back of that, I would favor the buys, but no momentum, no volume. Similar to what I mentioned on GJ earlier. I would preference at this point a pullback. A nice clean pullback. Let it pick up momentum, form support. Look for an engulfing or a catalyst candle for a buy. Or as it approaches and breaks for the second time in a daily high, then that's where I'd also be looking for buy opportunities. Take it up to 36.60 roughly, 36.595. Yeah, so that's what I'd be looking at when it comes to trading wise. But my belief is it's a really good entry point for longer term. I've been in for years. Aruna tour. Can't see where I'm trading. It's there. XAUUSD gold. Which is not doing nothing in a minute. Gold. XAUUSD. It's in the watermark just there. Again, a very strong level it's at. That's why it is struggling. Just quickly to my guys who are either watching in the Zoom call, on the Zoom call right now, or those who are in the YouTube or TikTok chat, any questions you might have for today's education session, feel free to pop those into the chat and I will be sure to cover it for you. It is recorded, so if you're not on the call, don't stress it. We'll get the information on a recording. For beauty, I think the market's in a reverse pattern. Yeah, I'm not convinced in either direction. I'm still more in favor of the sells. I just don't have an entry point at the minute, apart from below 32.8630. Yeah, so I'm just waiting. As I mentioned on GJ, now a matter of a pullback to 197.620, 670, 700. Rejection for a sell. Closes above flipping the 30-minute structure. That's where the buyers, in my opinion, looking at the better option. But charts are ordinary, guys. Absolutely trash at the minute, so I'm going to call it. I'm not going to hang around too long. There is always another session, always another day. I'll be on with my team a little bit later. I'll be on tomorrow from about 30 minutes prior to session open. Uncle two times JR, 2 times Junior. Say much love from Africa, Namibia. Thank you, mate. Welcome and much love to you from Melbourne. So yeah, so team, I'm gonna wrap it up. For buys, if you're wanting to buy, wait for an engulfing candle. That's your catalyst. You need a really strong confirmation here because it keeps rejecting. So wait for this. Whoops. And that's a strong enough confirmation to look for potential buy above. But it's just really struggling at the minute. For the sells, I still don't see it until below the support here. 32.8630. It's much cleaner below that point. That's where I'd be at this rate, still looking for my sell options. That is my opinion of the markets, guys. All good. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, but nothing lost. So do trade safe if you are trading today. Remember, it is the last day of the month, so just chill, don't stress it. Always another opportunity around the corner. GS Invec, thank you. YouTube, thank you to all you guys for joining the same crew. Appreciate it. I'll catch you guys tomorrow about 30 minutes prior to London Open. Until then, guys, trade safe. Take care. Have a good one. Bye, guys.
See you, Justin.
See you guys.
See you.